All right. Good morning to everyone and welcome to Sports Corner PH Interviews. This is Gab Peras. Kasama naman natin sa mga oras na ito, one of the youngest Pinay race car drivers in the land, and she's in Arizona right now conducting the W Series pre-season test. Um, from January 1 to February 4, we have Bianca Bustamante on our program. Good morning mula sa amin. Good evening dyan sa Arizona.
Good morning po sa inyo lahat.
All right. Thank you so much for accepting the invite. And thank you also to CBR Media for accommodating Bianca for this interview. So, kumusta ka na? Unang tanong ko sa iyo, how are you right now in America? How is the atmosphere there? How is the COVID situation in your area? Of course, sa amin nga, madami pa rin cases. Pero sa inyo, ano ba ang situation niyo?
Well, I got here a few weeks back, and I was testing in Buttonwillow for most of my time here. And right now, I'm actually in San Diego in the Olympic Training Center, preparing physically for the W Series test. And it's pretty cold. It goes around 9 Celsius here, so yeah. And with the COVID situation, I think it's almost normal here. Like the COVID is still there, but it's not really everyone's priority. I mean, we wear face masks and all the things we need to do, social distancing, all that stuff. But we live pretty normal here.
Okay, could you tell us, para ka ba nagsimula? Why did you gain interest in doing karting? Then after that, race car driving. What are your humble beginnings? Who are you? Who are the one engaged you to try these sports?
Actually, my father, he was a former karter, Raymond Bustamante, and he basically taught me everything I knew with karting. He introduced me to the sport, and immediately I fell in love with it. And I continued on from then. I went on competing my first karting race, and from then on, I did my few international races and I won. So I think that kind of what sparked my interest in motorsport when I started winning. I kind of wanted to do it again and again, and that led me into winning various races and championships all over Asia. And now I'm in my transition to Formula 4 or cars, and it's amazing.
Tignan natin yung profile mo. Ang dami mong napalalunan na mga local and international titles sa mga karting competitions back then, pre-pandemic. In the course of your career, could you tell us about any of the titles that you won, let's say in those competitions, both locally and internationally?
So I'm your 2018 and 2019 Asian Carter of the Year. Those years were pretty tough. I was in junior and I was racing all over Asia, competing with the best. And thankfully, we worked past through all the obstacles, and I won the championship. And I'm your 2019 Driver of the Year, and I'm your International Junior Carter of the Year. And I won a few races here and there outside of Asia as well, but in Philippines I won all of the major awards. So we were very lucky to have those opportunities of racing outside of Asia. I was racing in America. I actually raced here for a year back in 2015, and when I moved up to juniors, we decided that it was time that I gathered more experience racing. I was in Australia, I did Dubai, and I think that's where I gained a lot of momentum in my career because that taught me a lot competing with other guys very at the top of their level, and it's a natural instinct to push and push when you see someone really fast. So I kind of developed all my skills there.
Okay, besides your dad, who are you considered your inspiration in your motorsports career? I know dati meron mga race car drivers na babae din, Michelle Baumgartner, Gabby De La Merced, and others. Pero sino yung idol mo?
Well, I would say my dad because he introduced me into motorsports, but at that time we were watching Nicky Lauda. I mean, my dad's time, so I kind of got it from him, so I became a huge Niki Lauda fan, and I would watch his races and everything that he went through just to achieve his dream, and it was to be the Formula One world champion. And I also would like to pursue that same dream, and to see what he did, and seeing him and all the attributes he had. He was a complete package. He was the complete driver. He was tough. He was mentally tough. He was physically tough, and he went through all these accidents. And even then, he wasn't unstoppable, and he was very well disciplined. So I think the main ingredient to being a really good driver and to be a champion is to have the discipline for it.
Of course, the pandemic has affected many of our motorsports athletes, even the national athletes too, because many of competitions are either canceled or postponed due to the COVID-19 situation there. How do you see this pandemic as a challenge you to train harder and be more prepared for the next competitions?
Well, training in Philippines is a bit tough since I'm not allowed to leave or to go to the track because I'm still underage. So when the pandemic happened, I had zero training. I wasn't working out. I wasn't driving at all, and that was a bit tough for me. So basically, the pandemic took a year of my racing, and that year I could have been racing all over the world, but I wasn't because of everything that happened. So it was a bit tough and was hard for me to adjust to the home quarantine and to all of those stuff. So that's the reason why that I left Philippines to race here in America, to train here in America. And I was actually in France as well for the Ferrari Driver Academy last year. So that's where actually I just started gaining more momentum. That's because that was the only time that I was actually driving again ever since 2019. And I'm very thankful to get the opportunities that I got because it pushed me forward even though the pandemic happened.
Okay, before these competitions, nag-exercise din ka pala sa gym eh. You're doing exercise drills and you're also doing some simulator training every night. Could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so basically, being a complete driver, you need to be fit from head to toe. You need to be physically tough and mentally tough. And the only way to prepare yourself for a race is to train. And we drivers train almost every day. I'm here in the Olympic Training Center and I'm working out from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. It's very intense, but that's what it takes to be a racing driver. And I know that even if I am in pain now and working out all the time, it'll prepare me better so I can push the limits of the car whenever I do have races. And that's just one of the things of being a driver. It's tough, and the sim. I um I do sim training, so I get to drive, but of course it's not the real car. It's only a simulator, but it's the best of what we got, and that helps me figure out the tracks and learn the tracks before I get to it. Since we don't really have much time to practice on the actual thing, so we use a simulator to simulate the races, the tracks, and all the cars that we're using.
By the way, you still have online classes during this pandemic, and how did this affect your mental health?
Well, I think school is a bit tougher since everything is online and it's you kind of self-paced, and I try to balance my academics and racing most of the time since I am very I'm very school motivated, so I always try to excel in everything that I do, even if it is studying. I'm a year 11 now in UST, so I'm doing my best to excel in both academics and in my racing.
So last year, you were selected to be part of the FIA Girls on Track Rising Stars program. In what country is it,
In
by the way?
front.
Okay, and being the only Filipina and the Asian to be selected in the program, despite you did make it the cut to be part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, would you like to tell us more about this initiative? How was your experiences and lessons you will bring in into the next competition, which is the preseason test for W Series?
So I'd like to thank the Women in Motorsport for this amazing initiative. They've really put the effort and they prepared everything perfectly. I mean, we got there, 14 girls were chosen, and we got there, we trained, we drove, and it was really the best of the best. And they're giving a lot of women more chances to excel in motorsport, and that's an opportunity we don't often get because it is very male dominated. And they're giving us a platform where we can learn and grow, and that's what I did. I went there and competed, and I didn't really compete because it was I felt like it was just a place for us to learn and train together, us women learning from one another, and it felt great. I felt so at home. I felt like I truly belonged there, being there with the other women drivers, the best of their country, and it felt amazing. I learned a lot from all the coaches. They've given us a lot of input, how to eat properly, how to train, how to drive, and all this amazing stuff. And um, I'm so thankful for everyone that was a part of that initiative because they've helped me grow a lot. They've taught me a lot of things that I would have gotten anywhere else.
So apart from that, you also won some trophies in the Golden Wheel Awards at the fourth quarter of the year, awarded as one of the best female karters of the land today. I believe last 2 years ago was your last season with karting, and you're already in transition to race car driving. Can you clarify with this?
Yeah, so my last year in karting was in 2019 where I won all of my awards, my Asian Junior Karter of the Year and National Karter of the Year. That was a very great year for us. We won all of the major international and national awards in karting, and I gained a lot of experience from that year. There was a lot of things that a lot of obstacle that was put in our way, a lot of hindrance, but we pushed past it, and it gave us all the wins. And so now I'm in transition to my Formula 4 season. I'm into my Formula season, and I got this opportunity with W Series to race with them as a support race for Formula One, and I will be driving the Formula 3 machinery. So that's amazing, and being with the series is giving me a lot of stand.
Right now you're in San Diego, preparing for the W Series pre-season test, which will held later this week in Arizona. And could you share with us the importance of joining this event? How do you prepare for this? What are the chances to be maybe in search for a type of team, either in F1 up to F4, that you will be joined someday?
So basically, this just means a lot to me. I mean, it's always been my dream ever since I was karting really, and to be given this opportunity and to just even be acknowledged by the W Series as one of the top female drivers, not just in my country but in Asia, as leading Asian, is a huge confidence boost, and it's a boost for especially I'm transitioning to my Formula 4 season, and I'm training a lot for this. We did a lot of testing prior to the test, and I'm training a lot too physically here in the Olympic Training Center, and it's amazing that it's pushed me so much and it fuels my passion for racing. I really do want this a lot, not just for myself, but to my parents and to everyone that's worked hard to get me where I am now. And so when we get to Arizona, there will be 15 drivers that will be testing for hopefully getting a season in W Series. So they will only take a few drivers to make it to the season for the 2022 campaign, and I am very hoping that I'm one of those drivers. But of course, this W Series, it's not. It's for the long run, and if I don't make it this year, then there's a lot of more chances that I make it the next season or become a reserve driver. And I think that's amazing. I mean, I'm still very young, and it's only January of 2022. There's still a lot of things that can possibly happen.
Clarify also, main goal for you is of course joining W Series first, then hopefully Formula One someday. Are you praying and hoping that the goal will happen when time comes in either 2, 3 years or so?
Well, of course, the goal will forever be Formula One. I think it's you're not a racing driver if you don't if your target is not Formula One. From now, we're looking forward to W Series. It's a great stepping stone. It's a great platform to be to be introduced to Formula cars, and We do also target to do a few Formula Force races this year to gain more experience in the car and to gain confidence. So that's our target right now is to join the W Series and to do some F4 races.
And we're praying and we'll be cheering and supporting for you in the next competition. So outside of race car driving, any sports, any hobbies that you played or gained interest with?
Oh, well, I'm actually an artist, so I love to draw and I like studying and reading. I obviously love working out since that's one of one of the things of being a driver. You always need to be fit, and it makes me feel good whenever I am working out. So I love drawing. I plan to be an architect one day in college or university. And I love reading. I read a lot of books and English literature. I think it helps me communicate as well better with my English, and it just helps me show my emotions more, which I love the most.
So over the years, many women athletes are dominating international competitions, especially sina Idilyn Diaz, Nesty Patricio, who both won the gold and silver in the recent Tokyo Olympics. Are those victories serves as an added motivation for you to at least bring pride and honor to our country, especially in the motorsport scene that usually dominated by males?
Yes, I mean, I actually watched it 1,000 times, the clips of when they won the gold, when they won the medals, and yeah, it inspires me a lot as an athlete as I see one of my fellow countrymen or countrywomen there, representing Philippines and winning and excelling so much in their own sport. I was actually exposed to a lot of different sports here in the Olympic Center. There's a lot of track and field, weightlifting, and I see them with so much passion, and that kind of encourages me and inspires me as well. Getting to know the other sports and their disciplines and how much it takes to be the best. And I'm pushing myself to be one of the best as well.
By the way, what is your dream team in Formula One for you?
Well, as I'm wearing red right now, I'm really a Ferrari fan. I'm a Ferrari fan by heart. I'm a fan of Niki Lauda, I'm a fan of Charles, and I've been a huge fan of Ferrari ever since then, and it never left my heart.
That okay. By the way, your family, especially your mom and grandmother, is always very supportive of your career. In fact, lagi ko nakikita sa Sports Corner PH page yung mga comments niya, yung mga heartwarming messages nila for them. So, could you give us a message na kahit nawalay kayo sa isa't isa sa Amerika at sa Pilipinas, could you give us a message, a shout out for them?
So they're very supportive, as you guys can tell. They watch all of my races. They're there supporting me. They even though I'm very far, I feel like they're right beside me, pushing me. And we call every day, so we tend to not meet each other as much. And I'm very thankful that I do have a family that supports my passion. So I love to thank my parents, Bianca Bustamante, and my grandparents, Dolly Luzong and Ramon Luzong. They've been supporting me from day one, even when I was a little kid. They never stopped me from pursuing my dreams, which I'm very thankful for. Being a woman in motorsport, it scares them a lot whenever they watch me race, but they've always been supportive and telling me to do my best. And whenever you do your best, you excel. And that's what I've been doing. So I'm thankful for them.
One final question before we end. What is your message for those who want to pursue race car driving someday just like you?
Well, it's a tough path. It's never easy. I think it's not the easiest path to take, but it's very rewarding in the end whenever you win a race and all that stuff. So, if there is one thing that I can say that you need to have to be a racing driver, it's really the discipline. I think any sport takes up a lot of discipline, but racing, it takes up a lot. Mentally, physically, you need to be tough. And if you really love something, you'll go the extra mile for it. You have to dig deep every single time, every single lap, every time you drive. And it's hard. It's hard being in this world, but it feels good. And driving makes everything better. So just don't be afraid and do your best, and you'll get there eventually.
All right, thank you, Bianca. But before we wrap it up, meron ka bang mga closing remarks, shout outs to those who sponsors and to us who regularly cover your journey alone? Go ahead.
So I'd like to thank Sports Corner PH for their continuous support. I mean, they've been very supportive ever since, and I'm very thankful for that. And of course, my parents, like I said, my whole family and my friends and my coach, Elson Carpio, and my team, CBR Media, for getting me all the opportunities they get. So I'd like to thank that, and my manager Dara Oloyan for making things happen. I mean, he's the one that arranged everything. He's the man. He's the main man working behind the scenes, making things happen. And I love to thank him so much, and I owe him everything. Um, I'd also like to thank my sponsors, Biker Bicycles, Z Challenger, and Next Level Racing, and Case Mask, and they've supported me this trip, and I'm very thankful for them. And also to Yuka and Steven, they're the ones that made this trip really possible. My training, it's very expensive, but they pushed through that. So thankful for them for supporting everything. And of course, my coach, my racing coach, Richard Lyons, he's taught me a lot in the past few days, and such short time we have together. But he's got me up to speed pretty quickly, and I'm thankful for him for that. And I just want to thank the whole nation and Asia and Philippines, and to everyone that's been supportive. I mean, I feel the warmth. I feel like I'm carrying the whole nation with me along with their support, and it makes me more inspired.
And yung social media mo, you share with us your social media accounts?
So if you guys can follow my Instagram, it's at RacerBia, and my Facebook fan page, it's Bianca Bustamante, and my Twitter, it's Racer Bianca. Thank you.
And we get to talk to you again some other time to talk about more about yung W Series test at yung post-assessment mo with this competition. Kakusabi kita, PPM muna kita ulit.
Sure. Thank you, Paul.
And with that, thank you so much, Bianca. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.